Hi, these are my notes for Robin Hood Men in Tights. I did the screenwriting practice where you stop starting a movie and you just write down everything that's happening, all the lines and things that jump out at you. And I have a lot of pages, so we're going to be here a while. This is research for my next project, which is a sub-project of A Star for Carrie. Hopefully we'll eventually get the word out about that and fund that project, the nonprofit startup as well. The title of that script is going to be called Fortunate Son, and I'll be working on that next. And here's what I did to practice. Robin Hood Men in Tights, directed and written by Mel Brooks, is a parody of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. You see archers shoot flaming arrows. There's adventure theme music like Errol Flynn over the flaming arrows and the credits. A lot of credits before the movie starts, like movies from the Golden Age. Even the costume designer and the editor gets a credit before the movie starts. That doesn't happen very often these days. Villagers screaming, their villages burning down. They complain every time there's a Robin Hood movie, they burn the village down. The villagers shout, "Leave us alone, Mel Brooks!" And then rappers, Greek chorus style Robin Hood outfits switch to madrigals like "Hey nani nani ho ho ho" in the middle of 90s rapping. Very well choreographed dance, actually. He was put into the slammer by his Arab foe. Would today's audience be offended by a Jewish director being disparaging of Arabs? It's not really that disparaging. I mean, it's like part of history or whatever. They go to Khalil prison in Jerusalem. Robin Hood, the guy from The Princess Bride and Saw, Carrie Elways, is in prison in rags. Hands reach up from a grate in the floor and they get whipped by the guard. And then they give him the finger as he walks away. There's a maitre d' for the dungeon. May respect some experiences for Mel Brooks dining in LA. They put a fake beard on Robin. Please don't hesitate to scream. "Ah, we're so busy." He sits, he hits his head on the way out. Why? Comedy, that's why. The head guard spits on Robin as he says, "Follow me." Robin wipes it away. They try to make him talk by stretching his tongue out of his mouth like it's a fucking cartoon, making fun of the ridiculous violence in Prince of Thieves. They chain Robin to Isaac Hayes, who's in prison for jaywalking. Side note, there was a lady in jail for jaywalking when I was there for Occupy Family Guy. She was white. They push... she was just homeless. They push the bar they're chained to with their feet on the count of kick, kick. The guard seems so happy when they lie to him. Rule of 3, when the guard comes back a third time, prisoners have all escaped, and he's in deep shit. There are jockeys on camels. Isn't camel jockey a derogatory term for an Arab person? That joke wouldn't fly today. I don't think so, anyway. Achoo is a joke that does not get old. Whenever anybody says this is a chew, they say bless you. It makes me laugh every single time. Let's see. Robin is always making epic speeches that people have to stop him from going on forever. Every character has their own running gag, and he swims to England. Row, row, row your boat, orchestral style, is just delightful. England has a Hollywood-style sign. Robin kisses the ground until he coughs on sand. The Rent-A-Wreck horse is funny, but Carrie Elways looks good on any horse. Dave Chappelle is getting his ass kicked by the cops because this is 1995, 94? LA riots was a big thing that year. Achoo says, "Is somebody filming this?" They stop kicking his ass to say, "Bless you," when Robin says, "Achoo." That joke is funny all the time. He says, "Watch my back." He says, "Your back just got punched twice." Robin is immediately on his side. Cartoony Monty Python style fight choreography goes back to Errol Flynn again. Robin holds out his hand for Achu to shake, and he slaps it like a high five. I love that. Then Dave Chappelle does a commercial for those sneakers you pumped up with the basketball in the middle of the fight. The commercial for those shoes may have been exactly like that. So it's either a spoof on the commercial or maybe product placement. I don't know. Who knows? Ask Mel Brooks. They do a racist mockery of Kung Fu with Kung Fu-like music in the background, and the police run away. Robin shoots 6 arrows at once that the guard is pinned to the tree, and then he says, "You've seen The Last of Us." Locksley Castle is pulled away. His whole family is dead, and the prince took his castle for back taxes signed to HMR Blockhead. Castle rolls away. Blinken is reading Ye Old Playboy in the basement bathroom of the castle foundation. Venus de Milo is next to him. Achu goes to get the horse. Blinken runs into the statue, and it's funny. He says, "Oh no, you lost your arms in battle, but you grew some nice boobs." And Robin lets this go on for comedic effect. Robin is always standing with his hands on his hips in this hero pose, very Errol Flynn. Robin's whole family is dead. It's so funny and it's so sad. The cat choked on the goldfish. The key to the greatest treasure in all the land, Lincoln gives to him. He says, "May I keep it?" He says, no. Always upbeat. He introduces him to Achu, and Blinken thinks he says, "A Jew here?" Everyone loves a hit in the nuts gag. This whole Blinken character just making fun of blind people, or is it making fun of the fact that no one, not even Blinken, acts like he's blind? They kind of just act like nothing's wrong. A kid runs up and screams like in Home Alone. Sheriff of Rottingham trots up with the guards on horses. They play his theme song on their noses. You know, like that. He says, "Over that boy hand," because the sheriff's running joke is that he never says his words in the right order. Almost spoofing on all of Shakespeare, definitely spoofing on the sexy Sheriff Alan Rickman in Prince of Thieves. A villain you kind of want to bang. But he's such a dick. He flicks his own hair and his horse's hair. An arrogant dick. Robin won't hand the kid over. He stands in front of him with his arms crossed, and he stays calm. "He dared to kill a king's dare. Punishable by death." Robin says, "My father couldn't give me a position in the National Guard." And he's always saying things that point out their lack of real power. All Robin Hoods challenge authority. Robin cuts the sheriff's saddle with his sword, and the sheriff slips down hanging underneath the horse. Achu makes a joke about him getting pissed on. "I'll pay for this." "I mean, you'll pay for this," says the sheriff, before backing down. His guards follow, playing his theme on their noses as he shouts, "Shut up, you bloody fools," as the horse gallops away with him under it. The boy thanks Robin and stands uncomfortably during Robin's second epic speech. The kid gets impatient, interrupts, says he has to go home alone now, just to drive home the point that they're spoofing Home Alone, which was marketed with an open-mouthed Macaulay Culkin to corner that oh-so-sought-after pedophile market. Or something. I don't know. That's just speculation. Don't quote me. The kid runs away and screams, and he's like, "That was strange, child." Marianne's theme is pretty beautiful. It's like a really cute song that she's singing. A sweet little love song she's singing as she's naked in the bath, and her hair covers up her boobs. And she looks like Venus brushing her hair, and the camera breaks through the stained glass. Trademark of all Mel Brooks movies. The crew/camera interrupts the movie at least once, sometimes like 3 times. She goes back to singing as if nothing happened after looking kind of like annoyed for a second. There's a nice crossfade. Everyone's already in love with her. Broomhilda gets it says, "Get out of that tub before that ting begins to rust." And then she stands up and she reveals an iron chastity belt with the Everlast logo. Did they pay for that? I wonder. How did women shave their legs back then? No boobs, it's PG-13. She turns up a gas fireplace, maybe making fun of the gas fireplaces in Prince of Thieves, or just making fun of like the 90s. Happy little bluebird lands on her hand, and she's like a Disney princess. She's so innocent and cute. Very Mel Brooksy joke, key to my heart. I can't really say. Richard Lewis as Prince John was perfect casting. His running joke is he has a mole on his face that keeps moving. And the sheriff tells him terrible news in a good way. And it's hilarious. This is every filmmaker's conversation with the money people. And then he goes to Latrine, who's played by Tracy Ullman. She says, testicles of a newt? I guess he's a transsexual now. Would that joke fly nowadays? I don't know. Not sure. She says, you want certain, hire yourself a witch, I'm just your cook. Now eat this. He looks like he's Vincent, what's his name? Richard Lewis says it looks like a satyr at Vincent Price's house. There's eyeballs, he spits one out, and he's like, you changed it to latrine? And she says, yeah, it used to be shithouse. Good change, such a good change. She wants to bang the sheriff. She does this like elector tongue thing. She has a cutout of him. Whoa, people have gone crazy. Maybe if we got, and then he's like, maybe if we got him drunk. Very drunk. All right. Got a shot, cutout changes. The cutout changes to a word expression. Double crossers everywhere. Flute sound in the woods. Robin gets to a bridge with Little John guarding it with a stick. This making fun of people who are stupid? He seems pleased with his rhyme. If we don't get no tolls, we don't eat no rolls. Robin threatens him, they fight. True tries to stop Robin from fighting because this ain't exactly Mississippi. And Robin says it's the principle of the thing. A fun fight choreography to the rhythm of the music. Their sticks keep breaking in half until they're pencil fighting. And Robin trips Little John into the creek. Little John thinks he's drowning, even though there's like barely any water. And Robin helps him up, and Little John says he saved his life. He hugs him so hard that he almost suffocates him. Now they're friends. Achoo, bless you. Never gets old. Will Scarlet shreds an arrow with knives. What part of Georgia are you from? South Central? Says Dave Chappelle. He's so great at this. Little John apologizes, says there's nothing left. Prince John took it all. Robin says he plans to crash their party, rid England of their tyranny. They want to join. Robin insists on going alone. One man can get in more easily than half a dozen. Robin jumps on the horse and falls off. Achoo says, man, white man can't jump. Is that a joke? That's just the title of a movie where Woody Harrelson plays basketball with black guys, right? The castle has valet parking. Somebody puts a club-style lock on their horse. A mime is entertaining the guests badly. The sheriff says, kill him! And the prince says, a mime is a terrible thing to waste. Marianne is slaying in that dress. The costumes look a lot like Prince of Thieves, but wow, she looks awesome in that wet-looking, like, gold gown. She takes her place next to the prince, who tries to set her up with the sheriff, and he offers her a date. How about next Thursday? And he laughs at his own joke. He licks his lips after saying, you look ravishing, and he kisses her hand, and she's like, ew. And that's when Robin bursts in, carrying a dead pig on his shoulders. The hero theme plays. He says, "Greetings, Your Highness," before slamming the dead boar down on the table in front of Prince John. The sheriff says, "That's a wild boar." Robin says, "No, that's a wild pig." And he points at Prince John. He says, "That's a wild boar." And people hoot and holler like they're in a Jerry Springer audience, because this is the 90s. Robin meets Maid Marian and is way more charming than the sheriff and makes her blush when he kisses her hand. The sheriff gets frustrated and his words get mixed up again. They're like, "What?" And he says it right. And Robin says, "Isn't it also illegal to sit on the king's throne and use up his power in his absence?" He says, "I shall lead the good people of England in a revolt against you." "Why should the people listen to you?" says Richard Lewis. Robin says my favorite joke in the whole movie, "Unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent." And this is like a direct slight on Kevin Costner being cast as Robin Hood in Prince of Thieves and not even attempting an English accent. That's just lazy. You're playing one of England's greatest heroes and you can't work with a dialect coach? Way to point out Hollywood values a marketable name over talent. Cary Elwes was born to play Robin Hood. This movie got it right. Marianne seems turned on that Robin pointed that out. Also pointing out that Richard Lewis isn't attempting an accent either. But you don't tell Richard Lewis to do things. The sheriff challenges Robin to a duel, and he smacks him with a leather glove. Robin picks up a metal glove and smacks the sheriff across the face with it. Robin is always smiling, even when he's threatened. The sheriff calls the guards. Armored soldiers surround the castle. Robin grins as he swords fights, like this is fun. "Check, please. Table 1, Richard Lewis." Robin cuts a rope on the chandelier that he thought would fall on the guards. It fell on him instead. Will, Little John, and Blinken show up to fight, and the guards with Robin. Girls with bulging cleavage watch from the wings, and a man puts his head between them to see what's going on and just looks at their boobs. Blinken brings Robin something to drink while he fights with a guard one-handed. "Sounds like we're winning, sir." Blinken fights a pole. Robin cantaloupe faces a guard right before diving under the table to see Marianne. How's that for some Freudian imagery? Their almost kiss is such a turn on. He's holding his sword upright to simulate an erection. Do you believe in love at first sight? Depends on what you're looking at. Well, yes, yes, yes. Robin has to get back to the fight. Marianne's theme plays whenever they almost kiss. Broomhilda takes Marianne away, and Blinken has worn the pole down almost to a toothpick. Will uses his knives to pin a guard down and punches him. Armored guards surround the great hall, and Richard Lewis says a line that cracks me up every time. "I hope it's worth all the noise!" Which, I don't know why, just it's hilarious to me. Robin swings on a rope that armored guards fall like dominoes. Robin is still so proper as they make their exit because he was born a nobleman and had everything taken from him and crashed their party and said, "Time's up, motherfucker." I got really just like psyched watching this scene, I guess. Robin blows a kiss to Maid Marian and Broomhilda catches it saying, "No, no, no." Robin gives a speech to the common folks, and they throw rubber ears at him because he says, "Lend me your ears." And this is a Mel Brooks movie, so everything turns into a fucking cartoon. And I love it. And Robin says, "That's disgusting." Robin gives a speech that turns into like a Winston Churchill impression and puts everyone to sleep. Dave Chappelle puts on Malcolm X glasses and gives a Malcolm X style speech, waking people up, getting the crowd's attention. Sherwood Forest landed on us. That one. They're all in a they're all in the band. Are you with me? Yay or nay? Which one means yes? Yay. Everyone cheers. The training sequence is hilarious. Dave Chappelle cracking eggs full of pantyhose at the end of the line. Robin teaches archery and they all suck. Robin looks at the camera and says, I mean, like, just all classic training montage stuff. Jousting. Will is good. Achu has his hat on backwards. The dummies win the joust, and Robin considers hiring the dummies in the band. John's castle. Sheriff walks into Prince John's bathroom where his servants are creating a jacuzzi with pipes they're blowing into his bathtub with their mouths. He asks them to blow, as in leave, 90s style, twice. The first time they just blew harder. Sheriff tells him, Strikey has locked again. Locksley has struck again. And Sheriff asks about his mole being on the other side of his face. And Prince John says the payoff to the whole gag, I have a mole? Catapult. The sheriff just catapults him into Latrine's bedroom as she's praying for her one true love. And she says, thank you. And she climbs on top of him, and the sheriff scrambles away, but she says, I touched it. Rabbi Tuckman admonishes his horse for drinking. You're fish naked. He runs into Robin and his band of merry men. He asks, Fagelus? They act masculine as possible before Robin says, no, we're straight, we're just married. As if there's something wrong with being gay. That joke wouldn't fly today. Sorry, cultural differences have arisen in the decades since this has been made. Robin is imitating the hero stance of Errol Flynn in every shot. Rabbi says, may Marion is taken with him, you prince of thieves, you. The rabbi wants him to get married, and he introduces himself as Rabbi Tuckman, played by Mel Brooks. Moil extraordinaire. He tips his hat, and the curls are attached to it. He demonstrates a circumcision with a guillotine and a carrot, and they're less liked about the snip the tip part, and Blinken has a question, but Achu puts his hand down. Robin wants to share the rabbi's wisdom, counsel, and wine. The rabbi is reluctant, but he says, hey, there's trees, there's rocks, there's vines, there's squirrels. Let's bless them all until we get fish naked. Join me. Having a Gila theme plays. And the sheriff is meeting with Don Giovanni, a parody of The Godfather, to have Robin of Locksley killed. Quite a drive from Jersey. The sheriff demands to know who are his associates. There's a parody of Dirty Harry, Dirty Etzel with no tongue, and another parody of Godfather character. I don't know. I hope their first child is a masculine child, he says. And he's like, shut up. We didn't even have our meeting yet. The sheriff says, your lizard seems limp. He's like, at my age. And then he wakes up Charlie, who's the lizard. Charlie poops on him and he wipes it on Dirty Etzel. Sheriff says he doesn't understand a word he's saying, so Don takes the cotton balls out of his mouth and says he just came from the dentist. That's, a reference to The Godfather and Marlon Brando having cotton in his cheeks. His enemy cut out the other guy's tongue. He loves to tease him about it. And Don says he's going to make archery the main event to lure Robin out. Dirty Ezio makes Robin no more. Marianne hears them plotting and claps on the lights like the clapper and wakes up Broomhilda and makes her come warn Robin. It's not my feet, I just lost them. They go out the back, and Marianne jumps lightly down onto her horse to the sound of a harp. Broomhilda calls her horse, and the horse neighs. The subtitle is, she's got to be kidding. Farfakugger moves out of the way, so Broomhilda falls and leaves a dent. Broomhilda tells him not to do that again. Is that a fat joke? But she does take her question, her power back. She says, any questions to the horse? So we better not do that again. Blinken is the lookout for the merry men's camp, and he hears Robin approach on horseback. Robin says, Blinken, what are you doing up there? Guessing? Blinken says. Robin asks him to come down and calls him a twit, and he falls. Says, I can see! And he runs into a tree again, blind again. Nope, I was wrong. Little John and Will complain about the tights before the Men in Tights musical number, which is the same tune as Jews in Space from History of the World. Has anyone made a Broadway musical of this movie yet? I think it needs to happen. Blinken keeps getting the steps wrong and punches Little John, who helps him follow choreography anyway. It ends with, "Why, Rutch?" It's ridiculous and funny, and I love it. Marianne and Broomhilda get to the camp, and Robin helps her down from her horse. Little John helps Broomhilda down, and she falls on him, asks amorously if there's anything she can do for him. And he says, "You can get off me." And Robin admonishes him, and he says, "I panicked." So it's like, it's a fat joke, but it's also him like being a virgin joke too, I guess. Marianne warns Robin about the plot on his life, and he just wants to go for the archery contest. She doesn't want him to go, and he says, "I promise you won't go." Okay? And he pulls out a bit of chin hair off his goatee. Robin takes Marianne behind a sheet to sing to her, creating a shadow play for the rest of the guys. Robin sings out of nowhere, startling Marianne. Back to the Errol Flynn era films, golden age of Hollywood. I don't think that's really Carrie Elway's singing, and it's supposed to be so obvious it's hilarious. The guys sing back up, and they sway to the music. Marianne sort of just stands there and reacts adorably, and his sword looks like a dick in the shadow play, and Robin tears it on the sheet, and they're all disappointed that they're not naked. Robin wants to kiss Marianne, but she tells him she's a virgin, and she's waiting for her one true love, or if he's really cute. He says, oh, she's shivering, and asks what she's wearing under that robe, and she says, practically nothing. And there's a clank sound of Robin's erection hitting her chastity belt. She says, "It's an Everlast." Like they paid to be in this movie. Was Everlast a product placement for the chastity belt in this? Oh, if it were you, 'twould be terrific. Broomhilda says, "Achtung! No ding-ding without the wedding ring." And Robin and Marianne are very disappointed, and she stops them from kissing again. Robin says goodbye in a lot of different languages. At the spring fair, the merry men are dressed as ladies. Dave Chappelle claims that his shoes don't match his purse. The trumpet guy says the Royal Archery Contest is about to begin. And Robin is disguised as Mark Twain. Royal Folio Depository, like the book depository. Dirty Etzel gets ready to kill Robin. Robin is in disguise. He ties with the mafia archer. The sheriff says the old man is Locksley. Robin takes off the disguise, and the crowd hoots like Arsenio Hall, like woof, woof, woof. And the mafia guys split Robin's arrow in two, and Robin loses. Robin said, "Wait, I'm not supposed to lose." And he looks at the Robin Hood Men in Tights script, which says he gets another shot. And everyone checks their scripts, including the prince and the sheriff. And then they say, he does. The crowd cheers for Robin and gives him the chop, like, oh, which is, I think, something they do at Braves games. I don't know if they do it anymore. They did, like, when I was a kid. I don't know if that's, like, I don't know. It was pretty racist to, anyway. Dirty Etzel tries to shoot Robin with a crossbow, but Blinken catches the arrow right in time. He says, "I heard that coming a mile away," but he doesn't recognize Robin's voice. Robin takes out a patriot arrow, and the mafia guy trips Robin, and Little John punches the mafia guy in the face, and the arrow makes the crowd do a wave and goes through the back of the bullseye. The sheriff arrests Robin, which is what he should have done when he took off the mask in the first place, but this is a movie. Marianne promises to marry the sheriff if he lets Robin go. Robin tells her, his life's not worth it, just say nay. Kind of like, just say no. Walk this way, the sheriff says. He flips his hair, and then he just does this like strut. And then the guards and Robin copy the sheriff. They do exactly what he did. The prince says, by the end of the day, we'll either have a wedding or a hanging. Either way, it ought to be a lot of fun. The crowd cheers. The guys fox the villagers. They send a fox named Mickey with a message, and there's a flipper sound as the fox runs away. They get out of their ladies' clothes and into the tights. Robin stands at the gallows getting fitted for his new spam weirdo hangman. Dom DeLuise is the abbot. His staff hits the camera as he walks by. Hey, Abbott! I hate that guy. Harks back to Abbott and Costello. The sheriff walks up. The prince gives Marianne away as Robin watches from the gallows. The prince closes the castle gate with a garage door opener that makes a very 90s beep. Her wedding dress, even to a creep, is gorgeous. The costumes in this are really cool. Abbott reads in pig Latin. Everyone laughs at the sheriff's name, Mervyn. And the sheriff says, yes, I do, get on with it. And Marianne's about to say, I do, when Achu saves Robin by shooting the noose so he's free. Marianne says not, because this is the 90s. The villagers come in and storm the castle. Chaos ensues. The castle guards are about to charge Robin and his merry men, but on the count of jump, they jump right out of the way, and they laugh as the guards impale themselves. Blinken misses the group high five, but Little John picks him up anyway. The villagers fight the castle guards. The sheriff kidnaps Marianne and runs her off to the tower. Even the village women are getting into the fight. The sheriff rips off Marianne's dress and sees her chastity belt and says, oh, that's going to chafe my willy. The sheriff tries to use a jackhammer to get it off. Robin shows up and she says his name while still being jackhammered, like, Robin! Prepare for the fight scene, he says after drawing his sword. The sheriff drops the jackhammer. They sword fight, and it's hilarious. Cartoony. They accidentally stab a crew member's bagel. It's still campy and dancey like an Errol Flynn fight scene, but Robin never loses that smile. Their shadows fight like shadow hand puppets. The sheriff takes out a knife that catches Robin's father's locket, which breaks and then fits in the lock on Marianne's chastity belt. She says, it's just the right size. Then the sheriff has to say, it's not the size that counts, it's how you use it, because this movie was written by men. Robin ducks and almost defeats the sheriff, and Robin's sword accidentally runs the sheriff through, and Latrine comes in and offers him a pill that can make him better, but he has to marry her. See, the tables have turned. I like this. He agrees. Good, yet somehow incredibly depressed. He gets dragged away by Latrine, and she says, I always wanted to marry a cop. And Robin and Marianne are about to have sex when Broomhilda makes them stop to get married. Rabbi Tuckus marries them in a hurry. Except King Richard, a.k.a. Patrick Stewart, shows up, and he says, all the toilets shall now be known as John's, and he just, like, shames Richard Lewis and makes him go away. Robin gets knighted, and King Richard demands to kiss the bride. Everyone lets him. Mel Brooks looks at the camera and says, it's good to be the king, like he does in History of the World. and they get married. Robin and Marion get married, and Dave Chappelle gets to be the new sheriff, and the crowd says, "A black sheriff?" And he says, "Why not? It worked in Blazing Saddles." Robin and Marion ride away on a flower-covered horse, more hey nani nani rapping, and they get to his castle, and the key doesn't work. And they say, "Call the locksmith." And that's Robin Hood Men in Tights in a little over 35 minutes. Thanks for watching.